Leo Joy, who is basically a trainer as well as consultant trainer in Technacus Solutions, Trivandrum. So, on behalf of the department, on behalf of the school, and on behalf of all the students, I welcome both of you. The session is open to you. You can discuss, and at any point of time, when students require any doubt, they will be using the chat box to put their doubts. We can stop and we can answer to them. At the end, if possible, we can open the sessions to the students so that they will be interacting with the guest speakers. Now, one instruction for the students who are available there. Uh, at the end, you will be circulated with the form in the chat box itself, where you will be able to attend a quiz on the session, as well as the feedback form will be available there in the chat box. Yesterday, there was a couple of feedback wherein students were using wrong email IDs. All student email IDs end with karunya.edu.in, and I found that many students have registered in karunya.edu, wherein your email will not reach you, and you will be having difficulty in your certificate receiving part. So I request all the students to be careful while registering for any event further. Okay. So carefully listen, take the quiz, fill the feedback form, and get benefit. Over to Macklin.
Yeah, or you can start. You can start. Over to Leoja, you can start your session.
Okay, Leoja, you can take the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, thank you for the brief intro about me. It was really a nice intro. Thank you, sir. So, let's start. So, actually, this screen sharing permission is disabled for me right now.
You are basically co-host. You'll be having permission to screen your. Macklin, check whether.
Yeah, co-host has been given. Co-host has been given.
Okay.
I requested, yet it is disabled for me.
It is disabled, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, co-host. You are in co-host only.
Sorry. I am hosting in Ausu Hatchroidi.
I can't get you. Okay.
OUSU.
I just. Raju?
No.
One second, Macklin. We will try to give. Now you try, Leo Joy.
Yeah. I got it, sir. So let's start. So let's start with our topic itself. I'll be handling the ethical hacking sessions, and Ezekiel will be handling malware analysis sessions. So about me, I am Mr. Leo Joy, who is the Chief Ethical Hacking Trainer of Tinos Softwares and Security Solutions LLP, which is situated in Vattupuzha, Idukki District, Kerala. And I am also a consultant trainer in Technocus Software Solutions, which is situated in Technopark, Trivandrum, Kerala. So anything to ask me regarding my personal info? Anyone? It's like no. So moving on to the data types. Basically, we have 4 types of data in the cyber world. The first one is public, which is available to all the end users. The second one is private, which is available only to certain individuals or certain end users. The third one is confidential, which is available to only authorized end users. And the fourth one is secret, and which is only available to the administrative level authenticated users. On to the topic, what is hacking? Hacking is considered to be the getting unauthorized entry into a system. The system may be physical, digital, partially digital system. So what is the need of hacking? In previous years, means by the end of 20th century, the hackers, or actually the real life hackers, were thieves. They were hacking into the security of the physical security of the buildings, institutions, and they used to loot the money and essential documents from the institution. But as the time progressed, now this system has changed, and the most valuable assets are being stored in the digital world as digital documents, as digital substances, and so on. So the need of hacking is how to secure the system. So that's the need. Actually, first reported hacking was a network hacking in the year of 1964, which was done in an IBM system. And that was network hacking was the first form of hacking. Hackers used to play with the communication systems by a primitive session type of hacking named phone phreaking and all, which is mostly explained by Mr. Kevin Mitnick and all. He's the first and foremost living famous hacker. So what is ethical hacking? Ethical hacking is the process of getting unauthorized entry or finding the vulnerabilities that can be exploited by a black hat. Black hat is a hacker who is doing hacking for illegal purposes. Ethical hacking is getting authorized entry into a system with the permission of the institute head or the company which hires the hacker. So what is the need? As I mentioned before, the thieves are getting advanced, they are getting digitalized. So from the digital thieves, we have to secure our systems, our valuable assets, our money, and so on. So for that, we have to find all the loopholes which are present in our system. See, suppose we have a crack in the lock of our house, what will be? We will be trying secure it more because it is breakable by an attacker. So just like that, ethical hacker is the one who is hired by the company, who can alter the permissions, like who can report the security failures that are available, that are found in the system, and the company officials will take necessary steps to strengthen the weak point. So what is the scope? The scope of an ethical hacker is that around 20 million cybersecurity professionals are needed for the year of 2021. But there is only 1.3 billion cybersecurity experts that are available as per the surveys right now, which means there is a need around 19.3 billion cybersecurity professionals in the year of 2021. Countries like America, Canada, Australia, and so on are hiring cybersecurity professionals with a huge amount of salary. It's just because of the reason that they do value their products and they do value their security. Almost everything is being digitalized in America and Australia and such developing countries. Actually, America is a developed country. So in all those countries, they are trying to secure their clients' data as much as they can. Even Google are getting data breaches and all, companies like UST Global and so on are not affected by data breaches. Once I asked Mr. Nibun Verma, he's a general manager or a product lead in UST Global in Kerala, in one of its offices. So I asked him, what is the reason? I told him that sorry, some chats are getting here. Miss Praveena, what did you just wrote in the chat section? It's EHHVAN I couldn't get it. So over to the session. So cybersecurity professionals are needed by almost all the countries. Yesterday there was a news like an Indian app had been attacked by a French hacker, and some of the data were published to everyone, which is published publicly. So these all things shows us the need of why an ethical hacker should be there. So the primary goals. There are actually 3 primary goals for cybersecurity, which is also known as CIA triad, which is first C means confidentiality. The data which is stored in a company should be confidential. It should not be available to the public according to its intensity or according to its value. So the second one is integrity. The data should be integrated so that unauthorized alterations should be banned or should not be entertained. The third one is available to the legitimate users whenever they demand. These are the primary goals of cybersecurity, which is known as the CIA triad. So as I said, hackers are there. Now we will be dealing with types of hackers. Actually, there are mainly 5 types of hackers. I just drawn only 4. The first one is black hat, second one is gray hat, third one is white hat, fourth one is sorry.
Now she has been muted. Someone unmuted it seems.
Moving back to session.
Okay, your voice is...
There are 4 types of hackers mainly. The first one is black hat. Okay, fine. Am I audible right now, sir?
Yeah. And just a minute.
Mic link, sir?
And just a minute. You
okay,
unmute
fine.
You unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Am I audible?
Okay. Oh.
I'm using 2 different systems for sharing and audio sharing.
Okay. Proceed.
Okay, sir. There are 4 type of hackers mainly. So no, sorry, not 4. It's 5. I just drawn only 4. The first one is black hat hackers. The second one is gray hat. The third one is white hat, and the fourth one is crypt kiddies, and the fifth one is suicide hackers. Black hat hackers are usually illegal hackers who hacks for fun and for selfish activities. Second one is gray hat hackers who, excuse me. Okay, fine, Ezekiel. I get you. Okay, back to session. So as I told, there are 5 types of hackers. First one is black hat. I explained it. So the next one is gray hat. Gray hat means it's a mixture of white hat hackers and black hat hackers. White hat hackers are legal hackers and black hat hackers are illegal hackers. Gray hat means they will do legally authorized operations while they do illegal operations also. Like they'll be changing their dress as per the occasion. If they need some money or something like that, they will do gray hat, means black hat hacking. And if they're hired by someone, they will do white hat hacking. So they are acting like that. Okay. So the fourth one is crypt kiddies. Crypt kiddies are hackers who use the tools developed by other hackers like white hat hackers and black hat hackers to do operations and do hacking. So they can't be mentioned as hackers. They are just using the hacking techniques developed by others. The fifth one is suicide hackers. The hackers who actually the hackers who actually hacks the system for a noble cause. They will be caught sometimes. They are not worried about that, but they are doing all those things for a noble cause or a common cause. Team Anonymous can be said like not say suicide hackers, black hat hackers, and Mr. Edward Snowden can be considered as a suicide hacker because he reveals that he had done that, and there will be some noble cause for that. And I also do remember one Israeli hacker who was hanged for hacking banks and took 40 million US dollars and distributed it to 4 countries in Africa. I do remember him. So suicide hackers like that. I'm sorry, there will be a bit lag since my network connection is not that much good. I'm sorry for that. So, what is vulnerability research? Actually, when a new system, it is certainly like when a new system emerges, a new vulnerability is also emerged along with that. So we have to check which all vulnerabilities are present in a system. For that, we have to know which all vulnerabilities are there. This is not a vulnerability, it's a feature. Or this is a vulnerability and this is a type of code which should do this service. What is vulnerability and how to find vulnerabilities? That is meant by vulnerability research. Even a form can be used, can be a vulnerability. We will discuss it later. And I'll be much concentrating in web application security and website security and all. So from this context of website security and web application security and so on, vulnerability research is done to the target through researching on the previous records of their data breaches and so on. Most obviously, the attacker will be checking for the possibility of previously done attacks to the target to to make his attack easy. So he'll try to copy the previously done data breach type or data breach attack. So we have to check the previous whether the previously present vulnerability is there or not, and so on. That means that comes under the vulnerability research topic. So what is web security? Web security means the overall security of a website or web application. So we can say a web application or website is highly secured if there is no vulnerabilities present in its system, and only if its life cycle is ended. So if a website or a web application is hosted or is live, the vulnerabilities will be there. The hidden vulnerabilities will be there up to the end of its lifetime. It's said like that. So it's said like as same as software engineering principle. Alterations should be done until the end of the life cycle of the software. So just like that. So what is the need of web security? Web security is engineered just as physical security. Physical security is the security offered to the physical systems, just like locking the system, guarding the system, and so on. So we need web security to guard our website and web application. So how could we guard our website and web application? So we should hire ethical hackers to be the guardians of our web application and websites. They will do frequent security checkups, and they will report the security failures that are found and how to prevent them. Hope everyone are clear with what I am saying. Am I audible, sir? Mr. Macklin, sir? Is it perfect? Is my audio perfect?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, you can proceed. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine. Any questions from anyone?
You can just, I'll just put it in the chat.
Okay, fine, sir.
You proceed. If anyone is asking, they will ask them to put it in the chat.
Okay, fine, sir. Fine, sir. Fine, sir.
Okay.
Fine, sir.
Okay.
So we will be going the first type of attack. We will be discussing 3 types of attacks throughout this session. Okay, fine. The first one is parameter tampering. The second one is CSRF, which is client-side request forgery. The third one is server-side system forgery. So the first one, parameter tampering. This attack is done based on the manipulation of parameters exchanged between client and server. I hope everyone knows what is a parameter. A parameter is something that are shared, or what do you call it, that are accepted by a website. Right? Okay, fine. That are accepted by a website from the clients. The parameters can be passwords, usernames, login forms, and so on. So how can we do parameter? It can be done using cookies, hidden form fields, or a URL query scripts of tampering techniques. The first one is URL tampering. Second one is combo box field tampering. The third one is hidden field tampering. Fourth one is binding attack, and fifth one is cookie tampering. So the first one, URL tampering. I think all of you can see the URL which is depicted here. It's localhost /8080/HDIV /bank/activity and a number /detail. So this number is an account number which have an account in a vulnerable environment named insecure bank. It's a vulnerability testing environment or practicing environment. So this is a this is a link in that environment. So for URL tampering, you just need to change this URL, this part of the URL to something. Okay, a question. Vulnerability research, explain clear, please. Miss Dharani, vulnerability research is something. Jimmy, wait a minute. I will be discussing that after something. Okay, Ezekiel got an answer for that. Vulnerability researching means identifying new classes for vulnerabilities in the system, not previously disclosed vulnerabilities. So we are doing like research to find the vulnerability. It can be a previously found vulnerability also, but we will be stressing on finding new vulnerabilities in the system. Could you please explain the definition of script kiddies a little more? Many hackers also use scripts developed by others. Could you explain the difference? Actually, Mr. Jebin, script kiddies are hackers who use tools developed by other hackers. They are not actually hackers, they are just users and users of the product developed by hackers. Hackers do use they are entirely different from the script kiddies I mentioned above. Okay, I hope everything is clear for Ms. Dharani and Mr. Jebin. Any more questions? Fine, perfect. So let's continue. So I was mentioning about URL tampering. So to do a URL tampering, you just need to change the URL part. You just need to alter the URL part, and it will be affected in the request. It will be reflected in the request which are forwarded by the client. It's actually not present right now. Most probably all these things are patched, will be patched in the upcoming websites and so on. It's just for a knowledge thing and all. So what is combo bytes tampering? Combo bytes tampering is something like you can edit the URL codes, HTML codes. Like, wait a minute, I'll show you something. Something like, what do you call, we have our website. I think it can't be shared through that. Wait a minute, I'll be back in a minute by sharing the system. I think all screen. I should select all screens right now. Okay, perfect. So I am searching for a website right now. This is our own website, so we can do something in this website, so no one will ask for that. So there's a contact us tab here.
Can I have it full screen, no? Okay.
Actually, it can't be done. So I tried, but it was not fun.
Okay.
Can you see the website, sir?
Yeah. We are able to see.
Okay, fine, perfect. So we have some boxes right here, right? So we can. I wrote my name here, Leo Joy, and my mail ID is leojoy316@gmail.com. Sorry. And I wrote something like blast subject, and this is a test. So I wrote these much informations in this form. This is a form. So I am inspecting the element. So I can see so many tabs here. I have class here, body here, span here, division here, so much complicated things. Oh. So I have found something like, what is it? Form, text area, class, and so on. I can alter the information in this placeholder from message to can you talk to me. The website vulnerabilities are patched by myself, so it's not accepting that. So previously it was showing like message here, and I altered the code, and it is showing like, can you talk to me? This is what we call as what do you call it? Combo bots tampering. So hope it's clear for you what is combo bots tampering. So moving on to hidden field tampering. Sometimes the login buttons have that contain some values and so on. It will be just like input value, submit value, send a message. So just like that, it some vulnerability testing environments or practicing environments are providing facilities for this, but unfortunately, I don't have a website testing vulnerability, sorry, website vulnerability training setup in this system. My system got some technical issues and it is not working perfectly, so I had to shift to some other system. So that's the reason for this inconvenience. I'm sorry for that. So I'm showing like this is showing like a message, like send a message. The button is
Dear
showing a
Jai,
value of send a message.
dear Jai,
So I am changing it back to message. So it changed into message. So value can be changed. Button value may be hidden. Maybe it just show your download. It may contain some other data like these. Yes. Yes. Sir.
there is
Hello.
small lag in your voice audio.
Hello. Sir.
There is a
Sir.
small lag in
Hello.
your audio.
Hello, sir.
Can you hear me?
Sir, actually, it's
There is a small lag in your audio.
is it perfect now, sir?
Now it is okay. Yeah, carry on.
Okay, fine.
Our screen is not shared, I think so.
Yeah, it's not shared. It was dropped.
Okay.
Now it's showing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So I was telling like some buttons, some download buttons may contain some certain values. Like I showed you here, the value is the value attribute contains message value. So when I change this message, this text in inside the value button, sorry, value attribute, it gets changed. It gets factored in the button itself. So even if I change the type of this button, it will change. See, type changed into another form. So this can be in a system which is vulnerable for um, vulnerable for parameter tampering. So binding attack. Moving on to binding attack, it's an attack which can be done in a website. Like I showed you how to do alterations in the button. So I'm inspecting the element. So span glass test area. Trying to edit this as HTML, and I copied this code and I am pasting the code in there itself. And I am changing the value of this code. So, okay, so you can see another text box here. First one is showing a message and second one is hello world. If this is a vulnerable website, if this is website is vulnerable for parameter tampering, then the website will accept this text box also, which I had duplicated. So let's check. Unfortunately, the website is not accepting any tampering requests. So the website, we can say that the website is secured from parameter tampering attacks. mainly the binding attack and hidden field tampering and combo voice tampering and URL tampering, which was done before. So just to show you how to do the parameter means URL tampering. Suppose suppose I am entered. Suppose the website do have a login facility for all the end users. It will be showing some ID here, something like 1234 slash index.html and all. So if the system have this, if this website have this ID, we will be directed to the link or the page which shows that ID, and sorry, not shows the ID. It will redirect as it will redirect us to the website, to the user account of the user, just by entering the user ID here. So if I change, if it is vulnerable for URL tampering, if I change this number into 9876, it will be redirected to another user. That's what you call as URL tampering. So the next one is cookie tampering. So for doing cookie tampering, we will be doing like this: inspect the element, and here is there's a network. It shows the parameter methods that, sorry, the types of actions that are done by the HTML codes. See, this is a cookie, so you can alter the cookie name here to something like that, Leo here. So if the system accepts it, since it's just a mere code and it cannot be reflected in the system because it's secure. So that's the thing. If it's a vulnerability testing environment, it can be done. It can be done. So it's just like that. So we just saw the 5 types of tampering attacks, and hope everything is clear for you as I showed you how to do all these things live. Is everything clear? I think I am not getting any questions right here, so no worries on that. No worries on solving questions. So how can this parameter tampering done? Hello, please reply. So okay, it's to everyone. Okay, fine. So I just showed you parameter tampering and all. So is an example. If some, just think like this is a website URL which you could allow, which could allow you to buy a book of price 50, and the network hijacker or the attacker just hijacked the system, and he altered the system as the price as 5 rupees, which means he made a discount of around 90% in his payment. So what can an attacker do through a parameter tampering attack? He can perform fraudulent operations on the site. He can do identity thefting of a user. So these are the main 3 exploitation attacker through parameter tampering. Sorry for that. So we will discuss that in detail next, after one more slide. So how can we prevent parameter tampering? The first and main solution is that the developer should use a source code analysis product, so that he could analyze which all things which all areas are vulnerable for parameter tampering, which all areas are vulnerable for LFI, RFI, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and so on. For the newbies here, newbies in cybersecurity, SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and all are website related attacks which can be done by an attacker due to misconfiguration in the server side and client side codes. Okay, front end and back end codes. So the first solution is to use a source code analysis product by a developer. The source code analysis product is available by Acunit and all. And the next one is input that can be supplied by reliable sources should not be part of user's input. That is, instead of using a query from the front end to access the data in the back end, like for booking or add to cart or something like that, you just need to do an operation, or you just need to hide the code inside a code. I'll show you how to do that. If input must be supplied by the user, it should be verified against reliable source. Yeah, suppose even though the request is the price is or the add to cart option is there for the user, then the server side script should check whether the requested price is exactly the same as this as the price stored in the website, so in the database which is behind the doors. So this is a small query which is related to the example that I showed before. String SSQL is equal to insert into T carts, cart ID, book ID, plus that is concatenate quantity price. Values of at cart ID, at quantity, at price, and so on. These are just backend codes for doing the operation which I had shown you before to get that link. So here all the parameters are stored into another parameter and then called to another parameter and so on. So instead of that, in the second option, in order to break the query, sorry, I lost the question. Okay, fine. There's a question, sorry. These are Java commands exactly. Nissan Verghese, it's a Java command. These are Java commands. So it's just for an example. Okay. Where was I? Okay, fine. I was here. So in the first one, each code or each query had an individual parameter or an individual variable. But in the second thing, or the second type of query, we are storing all the variables into a single one. Like it's getting connected in between. So the query is stored in a string so that it could select the price from the database table, which includes the book price and all. So here the query is like select price T books where book ID is equal to. So the variable book T book or book ID is stored or accepted by the user from the front end. Then the backend will look up for the price in the table T books for the book ID, which are entered by the user, and executes the following commands like it will and select all those things, and the next string will perform insert into command. It's a concatenated command which will add the values of this previously selected data from the database to the card, and then the command is executed. Hope it is clear. It's a bit complicated topic for the newbies actually. So is there any questions regarding this? Is everything fine? Is everything perfect until now? I think it's perfect. No queries at all in the chat box. So perfect. So the next one comes here. The client-side request forgery. The client-side request forgery is an attack with which the attacker is able to manipulate the victim credentials attacker can alter the permissions of an innocent end user, or an innocent end user is tricked by an attacker into submitting a web request that they did not intend. Actually, it is done only when the victim has entered or has a user account or a legitimate user in a website. So it can be done by only by a legitimate user, because when a user have access into the system, just like if the user have an account in the website, like let's consider about the not Google, Gmail, or yeah, let's take the example of Facebook. So we all have Facebook accounts, right? So we have a user credential like user password, username, and user password. So we can only do a CSR of user credential like username or password in that website. So we can check whether CSRF is possible in Facebook or not. But I won't entertain that because it is not legally permitted, and also there won't be any CSR possibility there in Facebook. But if there's bug hunters, you guys can truly do that, all those things. Most probably they may have done all these things. So an attacker can, the website will not be able to separate the legitimate requests and illegitimate requests, like malicious requests and genuine requests from the user which have a user credential. That's why in most cases CSRF is possible. In CSRF is possible. Okay, so how to prevent this? To prevent CSRF, we have to use an anti-CSRF token. Anti-CSRF token means anti-cross-site request forgery. Sorry, client-side request forgery, which do have a value, a token, which is randomly changed in or whenever it connects with the system or the website. So even if an attacker tries to change the user credentials, the website won't be knowing the new token given by the attacker. So he won't be able to alter these credentials. So if the tokens are not getting verified, the attacker can do CSR most probably, because the website may not be able to distinguish between legitimate user and a illegitimate user, or genuine user and a malicious user. So for that, we have to verify the cookies and tokens to prevent CSR requests. It's just debited here. So the website, there's a vulnerable example website here. This is an attacker looking good. He's a bit freaky, having a danger sign in his laptop, and do have specs. Just cliche appearance of a hacker. So he's trying to send a request through this URL website, vulnerableWebsite.com/email/user, which means he is trying to tail the request to change the email ID of the user, just as the user tries to change it. So this will be infected to the system. It's a browser attack which can be done by an attacker. It doesn't have any connection to the server in the surface level, in the backend level. I'm sorry. The connection was lost. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, fine. So the attacker is trying to act like a legitimate user by exploiting the failures in the web browsers. So it's just like a cross-site script commands, sorry, cross-site script attack, but not exactly as cross-site script attack. So he's trying to be a legitimate user and try to steal the user credentials from them, so that they could change the email address, they can change the username, they can change the password, and so on. So basically, it doesn't have face-to-face connection with the server and the client. Sorry, server and the attack. So the server just accepts the request from the legitimate user. He don't know or she don't know whether it is a legitimate user or not. So I just just a small instruction is there from me. I'll be using she and he and so on for representing systems like server, client, and so on. So hope you guys will understand. So he'll act like a legitimate user and do all these things to the client. So moving on to the next type of attack, which is server-side request forgery. It's a web security vulnerability that allows to use and typical SSR examples.
Jai, Jai,
with the organization. Or
Jai, it is little bit not clear, man. Your audio is little bit going. Hello, Jai, can you hear me? Oh, he has lost his connection. I just participants just wait now. He has lost his connection, Vilji. Okay. Audio is not. Yeah, participants, please wait. We are just making it out. Yeah. You can unmute yourself. Yeah. Unmute yourself.
hello, is it fine now?
Yeah. Now we can hear.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah. Please proceed.
Yeah, I do unmuted it.
Yeah, audible, ma. Please proceed.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, perfect.
There is
So,
small
sorry for the inconvenience I made. Okay, right now I'll be listening my video, but sharing this. Okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah, good.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, it is fine. Proceed.
Perfect. So we are continuing. Someone had raised their hands before. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because of the audio issues. Now you can proceed.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the legs. Okay, fine. Okay, starting from in the beginning itself, from server-side request forgery. So server-side request forgery is a website web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to induce the server-side application to make HTTP request to an arbitrary domain of the attacker's choosing. In typical SSR examples, the attacker might cause the server to make a connection back to itself or to other web-based services within the organization's infrastructure or to external third-party systems. So I think almost everyone who are listening or who are the participants of this system.
Hello.
Ezekiel, actually I am unmuted right here. I am using my mobile to share the audio and using my system to share the video.
Leo
Am I
Jai.
audible?
Leo Jai. Leo Jai.
Is it fine, sir?
Yes. The problem is that, the one which you are sharing,
Hello.
the one which you are sharing, audio is not
Hello.
required. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you open both the mics,
Is it audible?
yeah, when you open both the mics, we are getting an echo.
Yes.
Which mic you want to use, you can switch on
Hello.
that mic. The other mic, you can put it on mute.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I do have muted it.
Yes, yes, yes. Now you can proceed.
Okay.
Otherwise, you will be getting an echo.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Sorry for that, sir. Yeah. Okay. I muted it, sir. Okay. Fine. Okay. Sorry for that, sir. So, is it fine now, right?
I
Is
guess
it fine
that,
now, sir?
yeah, I guess that from your bandwidth is too low because, you are trying to pull two systems together, one from your phone, the
Hello.
other one from your laptop, I think. And that is where,
Hello.
the voice is getting lag.
Hello. Am I audible right? Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. Proceed.
Yeah, I think so. I also. Am I audible right now, sir? Hello. Am I audible?
Meanwhile, Ezekiel is there.
Hello.
Yes, yes, Joy, we can hear you.
Okay, fine. Is it perfect now?
Yes, yes, yes. Meanwhile, Ezekiel is there.
I'm not sure whether he's there or not. I just found 2 or 3 chats from him, and maybe he will also be there.
Yes, yes, yes. Proceed, proceed here.
Is it perfect now?
Yes, yes. Meanwhile, Ezekiel is there.
Okay. Hello. Just found 2 or 3 chats from him.
Yes, yes, yes. Proceed, proceed here.
Is it perfect now?
Yes, yes. Meanwhile, Ezekiel is there.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hello. Yeah, I can. So, sir, server-side request forwarding is a type of attack in which the attacker returns or iterates the request from the server to the server itself. It is done. It's done
Yes,
through
sir. Can you
server
hear me?
headers and all.
Okay.
So there are two types of SSRF attacks. The first one is basic SSRF attack, and the second one is blind SSRF attack. In the first attack, like means in the basic SSRF attack, the attacker induces the application to make an HTTP request back to the server that is hosting the application via its loopback network interface. It means some of the websites where we intercept the website or web application through burp suite. In the headers section, some of the websites may show the IP addresses of the hosts. So in those type of websites will most probably be vulnerable for basic SSR attack, in which the attacker a header and make it iterative and get data from the server itself, like user credentials. So moving on to the blind SSR attack. Blind SSR attacks vulnerabilities arise when an application can be induced to issue a backend HTTP request to a supplied URL, but the response from the backend request is not returned in the application's front-end response. The impact of blind SSR vulnerabilities is often lower than fully informed SSR vulnerabilities because of their one-way nature. They cannot be trivially exploited to retrieve sensitive data from backend systems, although in some situations they can be exploited to achieve full remote code execution. Which means blind SSR can itself cannot be considered as a pure, highly complicated attack because it has only a one side, like UDP protocol. It's just acting like UDP protocol. We will send the data packets, but we are not sure whether it is connected or not. But while in the case of basic SSR attack, we can see the sensitive data in the application front end itself, like an FTP attack, or means FTP connection or an HTTP connection or a three-way handshake. In FTP protocols and so on, we have to make a connection with the server. Like we have to send a packet to the data packet to the server, then it should a packet to the server, and the server should return an acknowledgement, and then the data is sent. So there should be a connection established to do the FTP. So just like that. Blind SSR can be considered as a UDP thing. So a bit dangerous one because it the attacker to do remote code executions, like he can do delete user accounts from the server. He can do defacements in the server and so on. So what is the impact of SSR? A successful SSR attack can often result in unauthorized actions or access to data within the organization, either in the vulnerable application itself or on other backend systems that the application can communicate with. In some situations, the SSR vulnerability might allow an attacker an SSRF exploit that causes the connections to external third-party systems might result in malicious onward attacks that appear to originate from the organization hosting vulnerable application. Actually, SSRF is an attack, and it's an attack, and it is also a vulnerability. We can't make anything if it is not a vulnerability. Actually, it's a type of attack, and it's a vulnerability, and it is named as a SSRF attack. Is there a difference between SSRF and phishing, sir? Since phishing also takes the user to enter the credentials. Actually, in phishing, the user is needed to answer credentials by himself. But in the case of CSRF attack, the user is not asked to enter the passwords and so on. It is stolen from the cookies which is stored inside the browser. That's the difference between CSRF and phishing. Is it clear, Mr. Avinash? Over to Mr. Kishore. SSRF attack is a vulnerability as it is a security attack. Helps an attacker to execute remote codes in the server. So it can be considered as an attack and it can be considered as a vulnerability also. Excuse me. Sorry for the inconvenience. To cross-site scripting stuff. Yeah, exactly. There are some differences. Cross-site scripting. Yeah, there are some differences like cross-site scripting. We won't be much able to do as much impact as CSRF can. That's the thing. So by doing as there's one more difference between CSRF and SSRF. It's one is from client side and one is from server side. CSRF is from client side and SSRF is from server side. So impact is different. So that's so while doing, if an attacker attacks the system through the SSRF vulnerability, then if it is vulnerable for SSRF attacks, then the attacker can attack the vulnerable system and can do anything from that vulnerable system. Like he can do host something, he can what do you call it? He can tamper any data, he can show anything in that website server, but this attacker won't be catched, won't be caught because it will be shown like the attack was. That's the thing. So this is just a what do you call overview of that diagrammatic representation of the attack. The attacker will try to get, he will inject his scripts into the web, and the website will try to get data from internal data. Then it will try to get and the third-party systems which are hosted from the server. Then it will try to get user credentials. It will try to get into the internal systems and do transactions, and it will not be probably caught in the firewall. That's the main thing. So that's the thing. So in most cases, the attackers are using burp suite for doing all these attacks. So why is burp suite used for all these things? Actually, burp suite is known as the Swiss Army knife because application attack, but it can be used for several types of web application attacks. It's there's a question from someone. Sir, can attackers check external IP from SSRF vulnerability? The attacker can check the external IP, but sorry, can you make clear of that question? Whether his external IP or any user's external IP or the server's external IP? Which external IP? Mr. Mishra, can you be a bit more specific?
Like if I'm testing for SSR vulnerabilities from another computer of the network, okay, fine. The server can view your request, your external IP. If I am doing the system attack from to a web server, like if I am pinging a web server, they will get my external IP. If I had exploited the SSR vulnerability, and if I am inside the server, he will get the internal IP as well as the external IP of that server. Is it clear? Is it clear, Mr. Krishna? If you do have any doubts or if you do need any clarifications, you can ask more specifically.
Leojoy. Leojoy? Leojoy? Hello?
Yes, it is clear.
Leojoy, can you hear me? Leojoy, can you hear me?
So Bedina Dilip is, yes, sir.
Yeah, questions I think
Yes, sir.
questions we can take at the end. Question answers maybe hereafter we can take at the end.
Yes, sir.
And now you can continue.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yeah. Your voice is little bit lagging. That is the problem.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. So now,
Yes, I can, sir.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sir. Okay, okay, fine, sir. Fine, sir.
We can have the question
I'm sorry,
answer-
sir. It's
we can
there's
have
a
the
bit connection
question answer
problem.
session at the end. Okay.
Mm,
You can answer to a few more questions at the end.
Okay, we are getting to an end
Yeah.
to this session.
Your audio is so much lagging.
So why bugs? We were discussing why bugs. So sorry, sir. It's connection problem. It's due to the connection problem. The
Yeah,
bandwidth of idea is had reduced tremendously.
network problem is there.
So
Yeah.
we are facing so much trouble for connecting to internet. I'm sorry for that. Yeah. So continuing. So why Burpsuit? It is just known as the Swiss Army knife. Have you seen Swiss Army knife before? Most probably, most of you guys may not be sure about what is Swiss Army knife. So I am moving on to the end of the system. The presentation. So why we are using Burpsuit? It's because of the simplicity and GUI provided by Burpsuit. Burpsuit. Then it's a freeware and it's in almost all the security testing OSs like Parrot, Linux, Parrot, Kali Linux, Fedora Linux, and so on. Ms. Pamela Profo, I'm sorry for that. It's just because of the internet problem, network connectivity problem. I'm sorry for that. So the session will be ended in. So these are the reasons for using Burpsuit are listed here. It's just mentioned as Swiss Army knife, and it do have a simple GUI and it is simple to use. Its simplicity is really remarkable. It's a freeware. You can download the commercial nation. enterprise edition, I think so. Enterprise, I'm not sure. I'm confused, a bit confused about that. You can download that for as freeware. As a freeware, and it is a common tool which is found in almost all the security OSs. So I am going to show you what is a Swiss Army knife. You can now see something in the screen. It's an image for a Swiss Army knife. It do have multiple tools in a single hand. So this is what you call a Swiss Army knife. A single tool to do multiple actions. A single tool to perform multiple attacks and so on. So moving on to the conclusion, thanks for giving this opportunity.
So participants, you can note down his
Thanks
contact.
for inviting me, Mr. Ezekiel. He is my friend from the Cyberdome. This is an initiative from the Kottarathil.
Okay.
Thank you for calling me, and thank you for being a part of this webinar. Thank you for making.
Okay. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo Joy.
You guys can contact me either in phone, through email. I do have a page and I'm sorry that I won't be available up to a date.
Okay, thank you, Leo Joy, for joining us and enlightening us with your thoughts. Okay, participants, you can note down his address so that you can, in the future, you can call, and if you have any doubt, you can contact him. Okay. Leo Joy, can you hear me? Thank you, Leo Joy, for joining us and enlightening us with your thoughts. Okay. Ezekiel, participants, you can note down his address so that you can, in the future, you can call, and if you have any doubt, you can contact him. Okay. Leo Joy, can you hear me? Okay, good. Ezekiel.
Yes, sir. I can.
Good. Proceed. Thank you, Leo Joy, for joining us and enlightening us with your thoughts. Ezekiel, participants, you can note down his
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, Ezekiel. We can hear you.
Okay, sir. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Ezekiel Kottarathil. I'll be handling malware analysis for this section. So, first of all, I would like to thank you, Karunya, management of Karunya, for taking effort for this seminar possible. And little info about myself is I'm working as an cybersecurity analyst at Ruatech Solutions, Chennai. So now we are going to slides like what is malware analysis? So malware analysis is the process of analyzing a malware sample for extracting more information about the malware, such as the scope and functionality of the malware, or how the system was infected and how we can prevent future attacks from these types of malware. So malware will be an executable or binary that is malicious in nature, and this malware can be used by the attackers to perform a variety of malicious actions like spying on target through a rat, commonly known as remote administration Trojan, or a keylogger. A keylogger, as its name says, every key entry will be captured by this keylogger malware, and this keylogger will send this captured keystrokes to the attacker. And then next one is data exfiltration. So which means the malware will send files from the target system to the attacker, and from And the other one is data encryption and destruction, which commonly known as a ransomware. So a ransomware will encrypt all the files in the target system, and if we need to decrypt it, we need to pay a ransom amount. But we cannot assure that they will decrypt our files after we pay the ransom. So it's the best option is to not to pay the ransom. So for an example, for a ransomware, like on 2017, there was an attack called WannaCry ransomware attack, uh, which was affected through port 445, which means as SMP port, the port used by the system to communicate each other, means to send and share files, print files, etc. So that was an example for ransomware. So so the objective of ransom malware analysis is to understand the type of malware and its entire scope, like what that malware actually can do, like its functionality, or identify whether it's a keylogger or a rat or a ransomware. Then we need to know how the system was infected. Is that a targeted attack or a phishing attack? And then how it's communicated with the attacker, uh, like in most of the cases, this ransomware will use a C2C service, a command and control service, which is used to control the malware or send instructions to the malware to perform task. And next one is we can exfiltrate useful indicators like registry keys, file name, for the purpose of generating signatures that can be used for future detections. Like keys and file names will be in the form of strings in the malware. So there will be a demo showing how we can extract useful information such as strings, registry keys, etc. So the types of malware analysis. So malware analysis can be classified into 4 types. That is static, dynamic, code, and behavior analysis. So in static analysis, we are not going to execute the malware, but we extract as much of information from the malware, like the strings, the PE headers. PE means the portable executable. PE headers, which I will show up means which I will show up in the next slides. And in dynamic analysis, it means it's the process of executing the malware and analyzing its the functionality and behavior. So it will give us an idea of what does this malware actually do when it executes in a system. So the next one is code analysis. So code analysis is the process of analyzing the assembly code after reverse engineering the malware. We can do it by using IDA Pro, or IDA free version is also there. IDA is a software that we can use it for deassemble of this malware or any software. And we can do it in both static and in dynamic mode. And the next one is in behavior analysis, mean the process of analyzing and monitoring the malware after the execution. So monitoring what we will monitor what process it use, what are the registry entries it's going to use, and what are the IPs it's going to connect to, and what are the network connections it is using. So I'm not going to show this code analysis because it will take more time, because we need to deassemble it, and we need to check for functions, and we need to get the instructions, means where this malware is going to execute in the memory. So it will be it will take another 4-5 hours for completing this. So I'm not going to take this, but I'm covering all the aspects of how we can analyze this malware. Hello.
Proceed.
Okay.
Ezekiel, you can
So,
proceed.
okay, sir.
Yeah.
So next is how we can set up an environment for analyzing the malware. So we cannot execute that malware in our system, because it will means this malware will infect in our system also. So we need to get an safe environment for this malware to execute. So tools we'll be using is an hypervisor, mostly VirtualBox. Means VirtualBox is an open source. So we can download it from official website of VirtualBox. It's a software from Oracle, and it's free and open source. As it open source, we need to update whenever the update is available, because hackers will try to exploit hackers will try to exploit this VMware or using zero-day exploits or some malicious codes that will cause this VMware to execute the code outside the VMware, so that it will affect in our system too. So then we need a Windows 10 virtual machine, which can be downloaded from official Microsoft website, which gives us a 90 days trial period, and then a Flare VM script. Like this script actually install all the malware analyzing tools in our Windows 10 operating system. So with the help of this script, we can install uh, like IDA Pro, uh, PE Info, EXE, then deassemblers. There are a lot of common softwares that used for malware analysis. So we can install all this bundle into one. And there are several security guidelines while we analyze this malware, like keep your hypervisor updated when executing the malware. Ensure that the network configure is set to host only, because if it's like a bridged or any shared network, then there will be a chance of spreading this malware throughout the network. So we need to set the internet connection to set to host only, and do not plug any USB devices into VM. Make sure that you download compressed and password protected files samples to avoid accidental execution, and take a snapshot whenever it is necessary, and do not store any valuable data on your analysis VM, and disable share folders before execution or analysis. Like if it's like we are analyzing a ransomware, it's use port 445. So if the files have been if the system is sharing files across the network, then there might be a chance, there is a chance for spreading this malware throughout the network. So next one is static analysis. So static analysis is the process of analyzing the malware binary without executing. We are not going to run it, but we'll extract useful information from it, like what this malware actually can do. And so much of means we will extract strings, we will extract the registry keys, means we will extract the functions, what it does, and all the things we will extract through the static analysis. So first we need to identify the file type, like whether it's a DLL or an exe file. DLL means dynamic link library file, or exe means executable file, which most of you seen that. So we need to identify the file type and identify the malware by generating a unique hash. So hash generating is not, and it will not give an accurate thing, but I'll show you a demo on that soon. So strings gives an idea or glimpse what this malware can do. Like it will I already told, like strings can be random generated strings, or it may be means a garbage strings, or it will be a useful strings. Like it will show a lot of information. I'll show it in demo, then you will understand it better. And packing and obfuscation. So packing and obfuscation techniques are used to prevent detection. So most of the attackers, they will know that a security analyst or a penetration tester or malware analyst will analyze their malware. So what they do, they will pack the malware. So pack the malware, they will encrypt the strings, they will change the code to another thing that a human eye cannot read it well. So that is mean by packing and obfuscation. And then PEATS. So PEATS is the first block in the malware. So from PEATS, we can get more information, like whether it's a DLL or whether it's an executable file, or means where it can execute, the architecture of the CPU where this malware runs. We can get a lot of information from PEATS. So the PE headers, mostly the PE headers start with the first binary digit with MZ, which means we can know, if we see MC, we can know that it is an portable executable file. And there will be a notice like this program cannot run in DOS mode. If you saw these two things, we can understand that this will be an portable executable file. So we are using a tool called Hex Editor. and another tool called exe info pe, which retrieves us information about pe header information. And another tool is pe studio. That is a pretty good handy tool that we can use for analyzing the malware. So string analysis. So string analysis is a process of extracting readable characters from the words of the malware. Like these strings can give us valuable information about the malware functionality, like what file name it's used, the URLs, what it connects to, the IP address, the registry keys. This information can be get through string analysis. So strings, there are other strings, random strings also, like garbage strings. So what the hackers add this garbage strings to actually change the hash of the malware. So if you see an example, like when you do a digital forensic, you'll copy the disk image and we'll analyze the hash of the two things to analyze whether the content copied from the uh, system is accurate. So the same is applied there. If any minute changes is there, then the hash will completely change. So the same method means the same idea is using here. Like we need to check the hash for if the hash is matching with any previously analyzed malwares, then it can say like, oh, this malware has been analyzed earlier, so I will show the report. Like that we can analyze with the hash things. So for that, we are for analyzing strings, we are using strings command line utility and a PES Studio and a tool called PEID. I'll show it in all in demo. So the next topic is malware hashing. So malware hashing is the process of generating cryptographic hashes for the content of the target malware, which gives us a unique digest known as a fingerprint. So the common hashing algorithms that we used in malware identification is MD5, SHA1, SH256. So in short, where this hashing comes to play is when a file got infected in your organization, a thing like one file got an important document got infected in your organization, but you cannot upload it to direct to internet because it will be against your complaints or IT governance. So you need to get the hash from that file, and you can actually copy that hash to virus total website, or even you can Google it. So it will give us an idea what does that malware does by analyzing if there any malware analyst did it earlier. Like if they analyze that malware earlier, and if they uploaded the hash, then you can find what that malware actually does in that. So packers. So packers is a tool that used to compress the content of the malware. So attackers will use this packers to obfuscate the content of the malware, which makes us too difficult to analyze strings. So packers compress an executable, and when the executable is packed, then it will we need to decompress it. So we can use UPX, a tool called UPX for decompressing this malware. And after decompressing the malware, we can analyze the strings and we can get all the information from that. Like I told you, like the strings we are going to take and which functions, the DLL that it will use. There are a lot of information that can be taken from strings. Actually, from strings, we can understand how this malware works actually. So for string analysis, we use UPX and exeinfo.pe. And next thing is the PE header. It is the section in the malware. Like this PE header contains the information that the OS requires to run the executable. Like this headers gives us an information about the functionality of the malware and how it's interacting with the system or OS. Or it contains the information like where this executable needs to be loaded into memory, like which in offset, and what are all the libraries that this libraries like DLL, what means DLL that this malware requires to load. And there will be a P header structure like the MC header or DOS headers. So it will tell us an executable is binary or not, And then the DOS stuff, it is primarily existed for the compatibility, like compatibility message, like this program cannot be run on DOS mode, like that will show. And then is the file header, which contains the signature of the malware. And the next is image optional header, which stores the information about the subsystem and the entry point. And the next one is section and section table. So the sections and section table and code analysis is into one. So it will take more time to analyze it. About 4 or 5 hours we need to sit and analyze it. Then only we can find what the functions it is calling, what are the data it's sending to, like that we need to analyze it. So I'm not going to take that. Soon I'll upload on YouTube tutorial and link the share with Michael sir. And then while analyzing the data, we need to collect some information like compiler stamp. We need to collect. So a compiler stamp means when and where the malware was compiled. Like normally the attackers will change this compiler stamp to a new or an old thing, or old date. So an analyst cannot find which the accurate date when it was created. So mostly all of the attackers will do like that. And the next one is subsystem. So which subsystem is this malware is being used? Like many malware use GUI subsystem as it is interacting with the graphical user interface. And in sections, we'll be looking at, is there any inconsistent permissions, like, or it's the executable is packed or not, what are all the read write permissions, which is malware. And we can know more about this in the section area. So the libraries and imports, like what libraries and imports are being used and what information do they give us about the functionality of the malware. Like most of them will use winsock32, wininet.dll. This DLL files to interact with the internet, and they'll use kernel 32 to interact with the system. Like that, there will be certain DLLs for interacting with the system. So we'll be looking at that also. And in the resource section, what this malware contain is like the if the malware use any images or any icons, any dialog box, this all things comes under this resource section. So attackers can utilize this resource section to store malicious files like payloads, droppers, configuration, etc. Mostly it will be in the binary format. And in resource section is also useful, contain more information about the origin of malware. Like when it needs to execute, first it look at the resource section. So resource section we can find like it will be like more binary, and then we need to analyze it. And it will be, for if you're first in malware analyzing, then it will be a little more difficult. For identifying this, we are using PE Studio and a tool called Resource Hacker. So malware classification and identification. So malware classification and identification means it's a process of classifying the malware samples based on shared characteristics which previously analyzed samples. As an example, we can analyze the strings or the binary code. And so first we talked about the hash-based identification, right? So we cannot classify or identify every malware with the hash-based identification because there are certain limits, like the content of the malware can be changed by the attacker, so the hash will be different. Or like they will add more garbage strings to this malware, so the hash will be completely changed. So we cannot say that with this hash we can find a particular sample. So we need to take an identifiable things like strings or binary codes, or maybe an URL that it is used for command and control servers. Like we can take some common informations in the malware. And for this we will use a tool called Yara. Yara is a malware identification and classification tools which works by matching patterns across the malware samples. So I will be showing a demo on that also. So we can generate the certain rules for identifying the particular signatures that can be used to identify future similar attacks. So this Yara can be installed on our network, and also we can run it on a standalone computer for testing the malware. So if it's like installed in the network, then all the packets will be inspected to the Yara. So if there is samples of any malware is coming through the network, it will identify it and it will blacklist it. So this is the structure of a Yara rule. Then we need to give like rule, the rule name. We can give it like if we are analyzing a ransomware, like we can give ransomware, then metadata about the description of the ransomware, what information we are, which patterns we are using, like sample rule for identifying C2C servers or any strings we can give. Then other you can give the who is the author of this program, Yara rule, and then the strings means in strings you can give like the IP address or the hex or the URL or the strings. You can give anything here, and you can use the conditions like or, and you can use that conditions for analyzing it. So if it's like A and B is matched, then it will show the output like that. You can create a structure in this. So analyzing malware with Wireshark. So I will show a demo. From here, our demo will start. So first, we'll show a demo. Sir, can you see the screen of Wireshark?
Yeah. We can see your screen.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
So this is a sample malware packet, the PK file that I got from internet. So when we look at this, we need to first look at for the statistics. So we'll go and go to endpoints, statistics, result, protocol hierarchy. So in here we can see it's using IPv version 4, and most the most protocol that is using is TCP. So we can know that it is not using any UDP protocols by knowing like there is no incoming video calls or nothing. So it is using TCP, like it is using more like HTTP connections. So we'll analyze the transfer protocols, which is like 70.9 of the percentage. So we'll type here http.request, then filter it. So you can see the timestamp. I changed the timestamp here, so it will be different in your system. I changed it for my ease. You can see the timestamp here, and the host address, and the source IP, source port, destination port, protocol which is being used, and the hardware address, and it will show also the host name. And another thing is info. We are looking at here, and in here, if you look down, no, it's not showing you. So there's another way. So we can go to file and export objects like HTTP objects. So here it will shows the content type. So we can know like malware will be mostly in DLL or executable or SWF file, which can affect it through flash player. So we'll analyze the content type here. So when we analyze it, we can see an application use XMS download, which means an exe executable file here, and there is another shockwave file here, and there is another Java file means a jar file. So we need to analyze these things because these things are seeing like suspicious. Maybe the malware is binded with the images, but I'm in this demo I'm showing only this. So like in application like ms download, we will save that to system. Or we can save it like this, or we can put an extension to identify later. So I'm going to put an extension here. So it will be an exe file. So I'm going to save it, and I will also save an swf file. So save. Then a java archive file also. Save. It will be like .jar. Okay, save. So this is the file that we downloaded from there. It's an exe file. It's an swf file. It's not updated. I think I saved it to home. Here in jar file. Jar file. So first we need to we know that we doesn't know that these files were infected. So we need to calculate the hash of this file. So I'll go to my desktop. So the first thing is an exe file. So we'll calculate the file hash md5 sum, and let's check whether we can drop it here. Okay.
Again.
It is not executable.
Can you increase some brightness, man? Secure.
Is this okay, sir?
So dull background.
Oh. I put it to maximum, sir. I think I don't know what happened.
Okay, proceed.
So now we are going to calculate the MD5 virus.exe. We got a MD5 hash, so we'll check it. Copy. So here we are not going to upload that file. We are just analyzing the hash. So we can click on search and we can give the hash here. So click on analyze. So it is analyzing, and it says that no virus in this. So this was analyzed by someone previously, like on 1 month ago. It is been analyzed. So we'll check for the another one, that SWS file. So MD5. So it detected as a malicious file, that SWS file. So we can know that this is a malware. And as I said, like if your file is infected, don't upload it to internet because it is been shared publicly, so it will be against your IT compliance or governance. So actually what we do is like this: we'll hash the virus, means the malicious file, and we'll get the hash, and we'll analyze the vulnerable, means analyze the threat of this mm, malware through the hashing method. So this SWS file is flagged as malicious. So we'll next run this jar file. This is also flagged as malicious, so we can know that these are the malwares. So we need to know that which computer downloaded it, means in our network which system accessed it, which is the IP address of the system, so we can, from where this malware came, so we can get it from this Wireshark. Like we can see here. Wireshark file export objects, HTTP objects. And if you go down, if you click on here, it came from stand.domain.com, from this domain. And if we analyze it here, here we can see the IP address of this system is 37.200.69.143, and the destination port is HTTP. Of course it will be HTTP because we downloaded this malware from the browser only. So it will be in HTTP port 80, and we need to find which system it is. So we can use a NetBIOS or a DHCP for getting that. So we'll go to here. We can give like DHCP and DHCP info. DHCP. So in here it says that from this IP there are two systems is there, so we can know from this system is infected, and if we need to know what this the NetBIOS name of this system, you can get it from here. Like the system name is K34EN6W3NPC. So this system has been requested this file from that website, with starting in stand.domain.com, and which has a MAC address of these things. These things can be, we can get it through here. Like if you go down, you can see like domain name, it will give a domain name, and the subnet mask it will give. There's not that much info in here. See here, the backend, the option host name is the host name of the system, and where this is a DHCP broadcast that comes from the router. When the system is connected to the router, it will assign an IP address. So for that, this packet is being used. That packet is being analyzed. So from that, we only get this information, like which host system, which system is assigned to which IP address. Like that information only we can get it from here. So if you go to HTTP here, you can see the frame. So if you want to see which file it came, so you can copy, follow us TCP stream. It will show the content, what the packet has. So we can analyze it, but it will be, this will be, like it's an image file, image MS PowerPoint file. It is not showing here, so I'm not going to analyze it. Like that we can use Wireshark for when an attack is done on the network, the others means the company, the organization will give us an PCAP file for analyzing it. So we can analyze the PCAP file like this, and we need to find the which IP address that system is being used, and what is the domain, what is the IP address of the domain, what is the format of the malware, what is the hashing method. Like this, we can get the particular information from this, and this means this is commonly known as indicators of compromise. Like it's like a forensic data that we need to give to the CTO or CISO, so they can get what does this malware actually does. So next we are going to VMware. Can you see the screen, this VMware? Hello?
Yes, ma. We can see it.
Okay, sir. So I have a malware, like I downloaded earlier, like it is a malware. It is like, now it is like 32 MB, sorry, 32 KB. So I'm going to analyze it. First, I will go, put it to exeinfo.pe to analyze it. So here I can see it's UPX. In the sections, I can see it's UPX. So we'll be analyzing it. So it says like if it's a UPX package. So if we want to unpack it, we can try unpack UPX flag D, means deassembly. So first we look at the PE headers, whether I told you like first we need to look at the PE headers to find whether it's an executable. So we'll go to this view file offset, and in here it starts with 4D5A. It start MZ, and there is a banner like this program cannot be run on DOS mode. From seeing this, we can understand that this is an portable executable file, and the P header will start from here. So we need to first, if you want to analyze it, we need to deassemble this file. So for deassemble, we use a tool called UPX. First, I will show the difference between the compressed and uncompressed file. So now I'm going to get the strings of this compressed file. So it will generate random strings which will not understand. Like I'll show you a demo. Like we'll get to strings, then A for ASCII, then N for number of length we need to enumerate, and we need to analyze the file. So if you look at here, you cannot see any details given here, like there is no any C2C service, or all the things here are compressed and obfuscated. So there are some informations like this is using some DLL files here, that kernel 32 DLL or ADVPI for communicating with the registry keys, and you can see it here. So no other information is given by this file. So we need to uncompress it. So I'll uncompress it by using UPX. So if you look at here, we can it shows like we can use upx.exe-d for deassemble this. Normally it will show like this. For if you analyze a UPX is one of the compressing and decompressing tool. There will be other tools also. So I'm using here the UPX. So it says like we can use UPX to deassemble it. So I'm using UPX -d. Then I'll put the malware sample here. And it uncompressed, and it gives an file with the same hash, same file name with the properties of size of 68 KB. So it's uncompressed. So we will again put it to expe info, and here it will say it's like not packed, and we can try with only debug and IDA version 7 to analyze it. So basically this will be a deassembler, but I'm not going to show that. but it will be a little bit complicated if you're first time seeing this. You will not understand what it does. So first you need to understand how the assembly language works, how the system works, how the processor works. There will be a lot of things. After that only we can go to analyzing it. So I will show some examples like in here. Now I decompressed it, decompressed it. So I'm going to get the strings from that file, which I deassembled, like strings, then ASCII, then m is equal to 6, then the file. So it gives a lot more information than earlier. Like here, these are the random strings, the garbage strings that I was talking about. And this is not that much useful because it is created by the attackers to evade the antivirus and all. So this is not that much information, but some information will be hidden in this. But I couldn't find any information hidden in this. So we'll move up and we can see. We can see. You can see here, this will be the command and control service that this malware is using. Like you can see here, like this domain, these domains are registered in Russia. So the attacks may be originated from Russia, or the attacker may be from the, the attacker who coded this will be from Russia, or maybe chance of someone in other countries will brought domains from Russia to evade himself from this investigation. So we are not sure. Like we can always get information about this domain from looking at who is info, but nowadays they won't give that much information like register name and also other things. But mostly they will use fake names. Other sometimes this will be on the surface net. Like we can go connect to these things through surface net, means through normal process. Some malwares, so not malware, some ransomwares, they use onion route network. So it will be like dot onion. It will be routed to the dark net. So no one, no means investigation agencies can find it, but no other people's like normal peoples cannot find means track these things. And this actually this will be the command and control servers. And if you go here, it will be interacting with kernel 32.dll, which interact with the system to create files or move files. Like kernel DLL file it is interacting with, and net API, then process ID to session IDs, then it will enumerate user enumerations. You can also check this in Microsoft developers website. What does this actually, this kernel actually does, like this DLL, what actually it does. So if you go down, you can see the user agent that this malware is using. It is sending some kind of strings back. Here you can see some strings back it is sending, some host address. So I think it will be connected to the IP address of the this one command and control servers, I think. This will be the user agent that it is using. And here you can see this malware is using a registry to get the internet settings and FTP. We can, from seeing this, we can understand that this malware can steal our credentials also. Like it will get for a FTP host. It is getting some information about the passwords. Like you can see, if you see host, then we can understand like it is interacting with some type of information. Like it needs like encrypted password, username, host name, sign on. SQLite means which mostly the browsers like Firefox will save the passwords, and all in an encrypted format, like in SQL format. So this malware is getting these types of information from our system, like FTP, HTTP, HTTPS protocols, and like the Internet Explorer it is accessing. It is also getting SNTP, IMAP, post office protocols, passwords. It usually enumerate all the passwords in our system, and it will send to the command and control service. And these are normally garbage strings, but here you can see the registry entries that this malware is using. Uh, these are the register entries. This will use a user environment URL URL monitor DLL, and it will compare the string length. It can exit a process. You can search these all things in Microsoft developers website, so you can understand what does this malware actually does. And next is we uncompressed it, so we'll analyze it to PE Studio, or you can put it in PE Studio. So in PE Studio, we can see the MD5 hash value of this copy lines, copy value. So I'll be searching it in internet. So no, I disconnected it from the internet. That's it for like. Give me 1 second. I think there is some issues with my internet connection to this VMware. Maybe the uh, host is not bridge. Maybe that's why it's happening. So I'll skip this. So we can search this hash like I showed you earlier. Like you can search it in here, like in virus.total, you can search it and you'll get some information about this. And this is an dynamic link library file, DLL file, and it's based on 32-bit architecture, and it's used in subsystem of GUI. And the first byte is NC. That it means that it will be a portable executable file. So if we look at the indicators, it will show like this level means 1 is the highest severity and 10 is the lowest severity. So this PE Studio automatically sorted it according to the levels. So we can see like these are command and control service which has the level of 1 means high severity. And you can also analyze down, but there is not a lot more information about this. Like it will be like password it is using, the type of user agent, the security identifier, the registry keys which are they using, the security group, the remote desktop applications which this application can able to use. And if you go to DOS header, no, not much lot of information here. In here you can see this the stub message, like this program cannot be run on DOS mode. It means that that's a P executable file, and file header, and here the compiler stamp is here the compiler stamp is put to on Monday, October 17th, 4:48 a.m. This program was compiled. Like this information was given here, but maybe it will be false positive, so maybe it will be inaccurate. We cannot trust on this. If you we can analyze it with another tool called CFF Explorer. Wait, I'll show it. Here it shows like, see, these two dates are pretty incorrect. Like one, it says like on Wednesday, August 8, it was created, and in here it says like on Monday, October 17, it was created. So the hackers will normally change these timestamps to confuse the analyst. So we need to find the accurate one. So I always take the information from the CFF Explorer here. And then if you go to sections, you can see these things which is the address this malware used to run. This is pretty complicated. That's why I told like I will create an YouTube tutorial about this, and I'll post it on YouTube, and I'll give the link to my concern. And in it is like dot text means it contains the actual code or text, and it is the read data that this program is using. Then data relocate, maybe it will be like idata is there, import data will be there. So much information can be enumerated from here also, and it will be like it is executable. And here if you look at it, it is initialized data, and it is readable. All files are readable, means all sections are readable, but if you look at some sections how like executable to the code only, but not to our data or data. Like then you can get some information about this section. And the libraries, what are all the DLL registry keys it is using? Like it is using URL mon wininet.dll, winsock.32dll. So we can know that this malware is using a socket connection to connect to internet. So so this malware will use an internet connection. We can know about from this. And if you look at user 32, it will get information about users. It will then it will use token impersonation. Like if you are two users in the system, this malware can get like act like another user and steal the information from the system. Like there will be a lot of means while seeing the DLL, we can understand like what does this malware actually does. Like this advpi32.dll will be interacting with the registry. So this malware will be interacting with the registries also. And kernel 32.dll, which means that this malware is interacting with the system to create files, delete files, and all. And if you click on imports, you can see like what are all the functions it is using. Like you can see it will get version, it will get the system info, it will get the Windows directory, it will get the username, it can set the current directory, it can use lot user profiles. And here you can see the registry keys which it will use. And it can get host by name. I think it will convert the URL to IP addresses. And socket, connect socket, local here create file, read file, write file. It can able to create a file, read file, or write a file, or get file attributes, get the file size. Then it can get the temporary path. It can also delete the file. It can find the first file. It can find the next file. It can get the current process. And if we analyze it, we can understand what actually this malware does. Like it can exit a process, it can put the computer to sleep, or it can put it can put the computer to sleep. And there will be a string. It can calculate the string length, it can copy the string, it can concat the strings. And which can compare the strings, we can get some information, like useful information from this import section. And if you go to strings, like when we analyzed in strings utility command, we'll know like what we see the strings, right? The same is showing up here, like, but it will be more hint, like this piece trio will blacklist according to that, so we can know that this string is a malicious string, like that we can know from here. Like it is showing mm, the C2C servers and create a token, set backup privilege. Actually this malware can do a lot of harms to the system. Mm, it is also uh, getting into the cryptography area in the system, so it can export key, it can destroy key, it can get the user key to decrypt it. There are a lot of information this malware is collecting. And here we have the garbage sections, SNTP, like that. This is shown by me in that string analysis section. So these are the garbage strings, which is not at all important. So this will be one example. So I will show another thing in the resource section. So this is a ransomware. It's a ransomware. So I put it in resource archive. So you can see which icon it use. Like if you click on icons, this is the icon it is using. I don't know where it is using. Some icons I can see here. Then menu. Not that much information in this. So this will be the malware interface. The GUI interface will be look like. There might be a chance of these hackers will embed code in with the resource section. So it is like this is something suspicious. So you can see this is a malicious code that has been embedded by the hacker in this code, in this malware. So he hided this in the resource section so that it can execute at first. So it may be like a dropper or any other malwares embedded with this within this malware. Icon group, it doesn't show any important information here. Nothing it is showing. So this is how we can use this resource editor to find the graphical user interface of the system, or we can find any hidden binary data within the resource section. So we'll analyze this with an hex editor for finding the p headers. So we can see when the first offset, it starts with the 2 bytes like 4D and 5A, which start with MC. So we can know that this is a portable executable file, and this is the error that we are getting when it means we can understand like this program cannot be run on DOS mode, which means this is a portable executable file. So these all things come under the code analysis. So we can use this poly debug for doing this. This is like it will be very complicated. Like if you're first, I'm not showing any demo, but I'll be putting one file to this. Like you can understand how it shows. This will be the instructions that is used by this malware. So if you are not pretty good at these things, you cannot understand anything. So I will upload a video soon on this, how you can analyze it from here. So analyze using this only debug, or it is not fully loaded. It will take some time because I'm running it on virtualbox, so it doesn't have that much memory to take this load, so it will be very slow. So I'll be showing in another tutorial how to analyze these things with OD debug or IDA free. So that's all for this section, and thank you.
Okay, good. Ezekiel, it was very good. Now you can ask whether people have any questions. Dear students, if you have any question, you can ask him. You can put up it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask one by one. Any questions are there?